I've been able to stay disciplined in my training, my diet for years without pretty much ever falling off completely. And the most important lesson I've learned is the faster you can understand that discipline is supposed to be painful, it hurts, and is not something that feels enjoyable, despite what some social media content may make you think, the easier it will be to stay disciplined. My definition of discipline is sacrificing what you want to do for a greater purpose. In terms of training, this would be to sacrifice eating junk food and being lazy in order to evolve physically. A biblical example of a man with ultimate discipline is Jesus. He never indulged in what his flesh wanted, he never strayed from his purpose, his mission, and he sacrificed everything, including his life, for his greater mission. Whether you believe in it or not, the Bible is the most influential book in history because of this. Obviously, we're not Jesus, but I say that to make you realize that the goals you have, that mission that you set out to achieve, needs to be fueled with unrelenting discipline in order to see short and long-term success. The four killers of discipline that hold people back are 1. Lack of belief that they'll succeed, 2. Not having a strong enough motivator, 3. Negative environments, and 4. Fear of failure. These are the destroyers of discipline. I'm going to give you some insights to how they're affecting your life and how you can actually combat them. You can basically wage war on your own mind, on the things that don't serve you in your own beliefs and thoughts. So first, your lack of belief in your success. If you never crossed the bridge and got gold on the other side of it after you crossed, you're not going to believe that there's gold on the other side of the bridge waiting for you if you actually have the balls to cross. This is how your brain will trick you into not crossing and not actually staying disciplined to doing the things you need to do to achieve the goals you want. Self-doubt is a bitch, and it'll sneak up on you in the most unexpected ways. Self-doubt doesn't manifest when you're motivated. It manifests in your darkest times when you don't believe what you're doing could work. That's when it strikes. It's like a venomous snake poisoning you with thoughts of failure, quitting. However, the more action you take, despite your self-doubt, the less it actually starts to affect you. Doubt is like a seed, and every negative thought fuels it until eventually it just consumes your mind. You need to get into the habit of not fueling it, number 1, by not dwelling on it. You destroy self-doubt by taking opposing action to what the self-doubt is pushing you to do. Take the action on the things you know you need to do to be successful, regardless of what your mind is convincing you of. There's no way to sugarcoat this. It's the most challenging thing you'll probably have to do, but also one of the simplest and most rewarding if you could just make the simple decision not to let self-doubt dictate your actions. The second destroyer is not having a strong enough motivator. Nobody's going to tell you that you're a fat fuck or you would look better if you put on some muscle. It's up to you to be your own worst critic in areas of your life that you wish to improve. Otherwise, you'll just go through life getting the short end of the stick when deep down you know you could have done, had, and been way more. The thing is, our pain that we're in is something that can be used to transform our lives. The more pain you have, the more insecure you are about something, actually the more fuel you have to stay disciplined to changing that. Use your pain as fuel to keep yourself disciplined. Number 3 is bad influences in your environment. If you're not disciplined, and neither are the people around you, it's going to be very hard to force yourself to be disciplined. Part of this is from fear of standing out from the group and ultimately getting rejected from the group. This is a primal thing that goes on in our brains, and you'll never not completely care what people think. It's actually natural. There will always be a hint of caring what other people think, no matter what level you make it to. After all, we wouldn't be chasing success if we didn't care what other people thought. We just want people to think highly of us. But you have to reach a point where creating a new you is more important than the opinions of people seeing you on your journey. The come up is never pretty. It's actually very ugly. And people do not like to associate with ugly because it makes them feel ugly. But those who are willing to go through that ugly period ultimately end up reaching a way higher level than everyone else who's worried about looking ugly. You gotta reach a point where nothing around you can sway you off your path. No matter how bleak things may look, or no matter how dim the light at the end of the tunnel is, you have to make sure that you keep going despite whatever is in your environment holding you back. And the last one is the fear of failure. So, willing to be rejected, to fail, to try again and again and again and again is something you must make a part of your character. You're not Jesus, nor am I, which means that you will make mistakes, fail. However, that's not an excuse to not try again. And if there's one thing I learned about failure, it's that the more of it you accumulate and bounce back from, the stronger, more disciplined you become. It's cliche, but it's actually true. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And if you failed in your diet in the past, great, try again. If you failed to stay consistent in your training in the past, great, try again. Your fear of failure is because you have not fully committed to the things that will make you successful until you make it work, no matter how many failures it takes. You have not made that promise within yourself. Therefore, the fear of failure continues to terrorize you. For example, if you have fear of failure around training or whatever it is, starting some kind of business, the only reason why you have that fear of failure is because one, you probably never tried it before, so you have no reference experience to know if you'll do good or not in it. But more importantly, you don't actually believe that you'll stick through it. You know what I mean? If you actually believe that you'll stick through it, no matter the failures or no matter how hard it is, you're not going to be afraid of failing, and you're going to go into it with the mindset of making it work as opposed to waiting for it to fail. Oftentimes, we go into the mindset of things not even consciously, we go into the mindset of things subconsciously, waiting for it to fail, as opposed to going into the mindset of making it work. So, switch, first of all, become aware of this and start to switch your mentality around the things you get into of I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna figure out a way to make it work. This will give you the power and pretty much stop your fear of failure in that area that you're trying to gain success in your life. You can also use principles from other areas you've cultivated discipline in to fuel the areas that you lack in. For example, training and diet is an area where I've mastered discipline. Business and finance is an area where I'm working on discipline. I'm constantly thinking about how I was able to build my success physically and applying that to have success financially. And it's hard as fuck, but that's good because that means that most people won't do it, and it means that it's something that's worth doing. So use principles you've learned from other areas you've cultivated discipline to fuel the areas that you lack in. If you can start becoming more disciplined in your training and in your diet, there's no question that you will be in phenomenal shape. Then, if you can apply that to other areas of your life, you'll be unstoppable.